We've faced many hive gods over the years as a guardian of the light. Crota, Oryx, Nokris, and now Savathun. But what is going on with the mystery surrounding the hive god of war, Xivu Arath? Today let's discuss the greater forces at play and the new powers Xivu may have learned from the darkness. Xivu Arath is one of the three siblings who went down into the deep to encounter the worm gods and become the hive: Oryx, Savathun, and Xivu Arath. Oryx was the navigator, Savathun the trickster, and Xivu the hive god of war. Over the years, she's been responsible for many things. She would try to hunt her siblings and work with them in some cases as well. And after a war with an alien race called the Harmony, Savathun took her fleets into a black hole and disappeared. Xivu took her armies elsewhere, and only Oryx remained. Fast forward past the Taken King, Oryx is dead, and up to Forsaken, Savathun and Xivu would emerge in the Dreaming City with their Taken forces, attempting to learn some new awoken secrets. With Savathun in hiding for some time later, now was the time to strike for Xivu Arath. In Season of the Hunt, she was responsible for the Wrathborn and Cryptoliths infecting races with dark hive magic. This was when we were sent to take out the High Celebrant and to slow her advance.
Cyrus has been trying to assess the damage caused by the return of the darkness. He believes that Xivu Arath, the hive god of war, seeks to take advantage of the power vacuum left in its wake. Osiris was investigating physical manifestations of her magic near the Scarlet Keep when his ghost, Segiro, was slain.
One of the most recent events would be the destruction of Tor Battle, a Cabal homeworld. After Savathun played some tricks, Xivu would invade this world and leave everything in ash, forcing Empress Kaido to flee with her forces to Sol System, where we would eventually meet her in Season of the Chosen.
This infestation. I've seen it before. As Xivu Arath slaughtered my people.
What was it like? That inevitability?
Like burning alive. And realizing the flames are just the beginning. Gasps of scorching air. Helpless panic. The smell. Was it any different when Gaul razed the city? Survivors like us are embers in the dark.
Delicate.
Defiant.
In the first week of Season of the Lost, Savathun tells us that she was desperate to get rid of her worm and to hide from her sister Xivu. So to do this, she took the form of Osiris to have her assist us in the process, hunting Wrathborn and the High Celebrant and doing the dirty work for her.
Osiris was lost, lightless. I saved him from Xivu Arath and assumed his shape so I could guide your victory against her.
So Xivu is the hive god of war, and the name itself doesn't sound like something you'd want to encounter, and who knows someday when an invasion might occur. Now thanks to the seasonal intro, it may appear that Xivu is a bigger threat than maybe even Savathun. The Witch Queen could of course be playing victim and throwing out false evidence so we focus on Xivu, but the story missions tell us this.
The Ascendant Plane should skirt you past the Hive's barricades. Just be sure to mind the Taken. Word to the wise. Bringing down Quria left the Taken rattled. I don't think Savathun has control of them anymore.
No, man. My bullets do not know the difference.
During the events of this season, Kaido is actually battling Xivu's forces out near the reef. A Cabal commander says this to Lord Saladin. We are tracking the movements of hive ships in the vicinity of Mars's anomaly. There have been developments in the Dreaming City regarding Xivu Arath you should be aware of. Saladin replies, lead the way. On the other side of the reef, Queen Marzov watches through a Dreaming City aperture as the battle unfolds on her borders. The inscrutable expression on her face twists with each distant explosion. Petra wishes the small tensing motions would give some indication of what her queen is thinking. Instead, she only sees the cold stare of one predator assessing the size and strength of another. Petra looks to the knife Mara is idly toying with and notices a detail she hadn't before. A pair of kestrels etched into the blade, wings intertwined. Line work so fine that she has to squint to recognize their silhouettes. Petra frowns. "My queen?" she asks, but Mara does not shift her attention from the battle. Kaido's war games will keep Xivu Arath occupied while we focus on recovering our lost Techeuns, Mara says. She uses the point of the knife to trace the longest line along her palm. Neither will be able to launch a full-scale attack on the Dreaming City while the other is at her throat. Savathun first, ventures Petra. Mara's stoic facade cracks. She looks down at the blade, at the twin kestrels, and sees something in her own reflection that unsettles her. Savathun first, she agrees, sheathing the weapon so she doesn't have to think about it. So Xivu is definitely a big threat and seems to be involved with some higher being hunting Savathun on behalf of another. That other entity, whatever it is controlling or sending Xivu out here, wants Savathun dead for whatever reason, perhaps for abandoning the dark and choosing the light. So with Quria dead, this was how Savathun used and controlled the Taken, Xivu might have some control over them and something even worse.
The Taken presence here is overwhelming. With Quria defeated, I assumed Savathun would have lost control of them. But they seem just as organized, just as directed. By whose hand?
There are greater things in the dark than hive gods, Ikora. The Black Fleet's powers are vast. Oryx did not invent the Taken. He merely borrowed them.
This battle between the sisters has something to do with those greater forces at play. Now, to me, this is just speculation, of course. It seems like Xivu may be a pawn of something more sinister. Maybe Savathun wants to get rid of her worm and use the light, while her sister would still follow the ways of the dark and the deep.
Xivu Arath will never relent, as long as you possess her sister.
What does she want with Savathun?
The Witch Queen's importance stretches beyond the hive's politics. There are greater forces at play.
I have already learned much by observation. The Taken pursued her here. Taken she once controlled. Taken that now serve a new master. Or, if Savathun is to be believed, their original master. Not her brother, Oryx, but something far older. She fears it. It commands Xivu Arath to conquer the Ascendant space surrounding the Dreaming City. To use the Taken in her campaign against us. For now.
Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got in today's video on Xivu Arath, a brief summary of her past, and what the heck is going on with the Taken and greater forces at play situation. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mystery videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you, Guardians, in the next one.